So my first stroke, I was 19 years old. I was back from college for the summer. I was at a house party and started noticing I was having trouble opening a beer at the time. I eventually went to the hospital with my dad where they had discovered, at the beginning they thought I had a tumor, and it wasn't until the next morning actually at the hospital that they discovered that I had a stroke. So it was really, really easy. I made a full recovery. If you didn't know that I had a stroke, you wouldn't be able to tell that I had one. So my second stroke happened 10 years later. I remember it was like a bomb went off in my head. I remember getting up from the desk I was at and walking to the bathroom. And I remember being in the bathroom and splashing water on my face and just kind of telling myself like, no, this isn't happening again. This isn't happening again. And by the time I left the restroom, I was already having trouble walking. When the paramedics showed up, I was 28 years old at the time, so I don't know if they truly believed I was having a stroke. And I remember them flashing the flashlight in my eyes. And as soon as they did that, I could tell the looks on their faces changed immediately. And they were like, all right, we gotta go. So the recovery for my second stroke, I would say, is night and day different from the first stroke. I almost wish the first stroke was a little bit more difficult as far as the recovery goes, just so it could have prepared me for what I dealt with on the second stroke. For the second stroke, I was in ICU for 3 weeks. And then after ICU, I was transferred to a rehab hospital for 2 weeks. So it was about 5 weeks before I was able to go home. And then the outpatient rehab part of it lasted another couple of years. It was a much more difficult and involved recovery. Some of the difficulties with the recovery on the second stroke were the emotional and mental aspect of it. So I decided to go to the stroke support group, and the first time I went, I stood up and introduced myself and immediately started to cry. But I remember leaving that stroke support group the first time and just having that be the best I'd felt in years. And I just could not wait to go back to the stroke support group the following month. The second time attending this support group, there was a family there who was a new stroke survivor. And I remember talking to the stroke survivor and some of the family that were with them and talking about my experience. And I just remembered feeling so empowered that I was able to help someone else. Third time at the stroke support group, I talked to one of the employees at Encompass about possible employment. And kind of just went from there. The isolation that you feel as a survivor is one of the biggest challenges. And I think one of the things that the American Heart Association does is that they really connect people and they make you realize that you are part of a community. And it's not just you going through this. There's other stroke survivors. There's other, loved ones that are going through the same challenges you are. So one of the great things about working with Encompass Health is that we do so much in partnership with the American Heart and American Stroke Association. And one of the events we work on with them is the Saving Strokes event. And what it is the golf clinic for stroke survivors. And the goal is to get them on a golf course and get a club in their hands. And I guess it makes people realize that there's so much you still can do after having a stroke. Another great program that the American Heart Association has is the Sharegivers program. And what that is stroke survivors volunteer to help recent or new stroke survivors go through the challenges that they're going to face. It's really, really helpful to get out there and connect with other survivors. I can't stress enough how important an organization like the American Heart Association is for stroke survivers. They empower stroke survivors. They give them a sense of community, a sense of belonging. When you're able to help other stroke survivors and you can see the effect that you've had with the survivors and the families, it's huge. It's really rewarding.